Okay, so let's look at the third paragraph. What is our third paragraph going to be about? Jaden.
The climax and solution.
The climax and solution. Jacob, what else does our last paragraph need to have in it?
The moral and the lesson.
The moral of the story and the lesson. That's exactly right.
I'm just going to put
So, our last paragraph is the climax. It's the turning point of our story. So, we are missing one really important character in our story that we haven't talked about yet.
The wolf.
The wolf, right. So, we are going to use our 5 sense words in the beginning of this paragraph to describe our wolf. So, let's think about some things. So, we have a wolf. Remember, we're just giving triggers of ideas of things we can describe about our wolf. You can take a really good long sentence to describe your wolf, okay? What might we want to describe about him? What's important? If you're going to describe a wolf, what would be some important parts of his body that you might want to describe?
His fangs. Bloody
His teeth. That's exactly right.
His eyes.
There you go. Bloody fangs. So you're not even using the word teeth, and you're adding a quality adjective, right? Bloody. Ooh. Okay, so you want to describe his teeth. What else might you want to describe?
His eyes.
That's what I was thinking, his eyes. How would you describe his eyes,
Red
Hannah?
beady eyes. That's what I said.
Beady eyes. Hannah, how else would you describe his eyes?
His glowing eyes.
Yeah, his glowing eyes. That'd be really freaky, wouldn't it? Yeah? So, what might be another thing about the wolf that you'd like to describe? We've already used our 3 words, but we can still add lots of other things. Jacob.
No.
His mouth.
Drooling.
Drooling. What else could he be doing other than drooling?
Snarling.
Snarling.
Barking.
Barking.
Growling.
Do wolves bark?
No, they
Yeah.
howl.
What do they do?
They howl.
I don't know.
Howl.
They howl, okay.
And they growl.
And they growl. Have you ever seen a wolf?
Yes.
You have?
Yeah? At the petting zoo.
Oh,
At
that's
the zoo.
Huh?
I have seen a coyote.
A coyote.
Oh yeah, I've seen them.
They're kind of scary.
I've seen a bat.
What, Jacob?
But they don't really harm humans.
What time are they different?
They don't
Ooh.
really.
That's kind of scary, isn't it?
We didn't know those
But
were
you
different
leave them
coyotes.
alone.
Yeah.
Just don't take off mine.
So another thing, what about he could be foaming from his mouth?
Rabies.
Yeah, he could be rabid. That would be really freaky. Add a different element to your story.
You could be
So
really
remember,
so cool.
you know what? Stories need something bad to happen. So if you have a bad character that you're developing, let's describe him really well so that your reader gets a really good, strong sense of how bad he really is. So we want to make our wolf kind of freaky. So the wolf comes up in this story. We're going to describe him, and then how did the boy feel? What did he do?
Terrified.
He was terrified. Would you be terrified?
Yeah.
Of course.
No, it's slap on the
We
face.
would be terrified.
Be like Dorothy. Yeah.
You would slap a rabid wolf with
Rabies.
I don't care.
I would hope not. I hope he'd run away. So we're describing what's happening here at the beginning of the end of the story. Okay, so the boy's reaction is he is terrified, and what does he do because he's terrified?
He cries, whoa!
Right. What's a really strong word, and cries gives us an idea. What else could he do?
Yells.
He could yell?
Scream.
He could scream. I would scream.
I would go.
Scream. And what does he scream? What does he scream?
Wolf.
I don't know.
Wolf! We put lots of exclamation points there.
That's what I
You
did.
know what I would do instead of scream?
What would you do?
Yeah.
I would just climb a
You would
tree.
squeak? Would you be so scared that you wouldn't know what to do? Like you couldn't even respond?
I would climb a
When I
tree.
get scared,
You would
I
be
just
frozen
throw
in
them
terror, right?
What I would do,
What?
I would climb
What?
a tree. because-
You would faint?
Then they would think that you were getting trying to fight you.
You think so? I don't know. Okay, boys, listen up. All right, so then we have our next group of characters, and we want to describe what they do. Who else do we have in the story than the boy? The villagers. Okay, so we have our villagers. We have our villagers.
Poison leaves.
Poor villagers.
No.
Actually, I would say poor boy. What did the villagers
Good boy.
do?
Good boy.
Caleb, what did the villagers do when they heard the boy?
They ran up the hill.
Not yet. What they do
They went
first?
back to their work.
Yeah, and you probably do this if you have, sadly, if you have siblings,
Not saplings.
or someone that is maybe
Annoying.
bothering you.
Yeah, he
Sadly, you may do this sometimes with your parents. I would not recommend that.
Yes.
I
I tried
And they call you, or they bother you, or your sibling, did you like that? Hey, listen. And what do? You
Run
don't
away.
pay attention to them, and what do we call that?
Ignoring.
We ignore them. So the villagers ignored. What did they ignore?
The boy.
Right? When he did what?
Crying wolf.
When he cried wolf. So the villagers ignored the boy when he cried wolf.
Wolfie.
Right. Wolfie.
My buddy
Then-
found my little stuffed animal Wolfie.
Then what happened next?
He hugged the stuffed animal wolf.
What happened next? Well, maybe in your story, but in this story that we're outlining, what happened next?
He got eaten.
That's true, he did get eaten, but we have to find out, how do we know he got eaten?
Because all was left.
A10.
Well, true, but remember where we're at in our story right now. The villagers are ignoring the boy that's calling wolf.
What?
Right?
Yeah,
So
he
what
said
happens next?
He was going to say wolf again, but the wolf ate him. before he
Right,
could
so
finish.
the boy,
A jump.
what did the boy do again?
I jumped on tree.
What did the boy do again? He... The boy cried, wolf! And then how do we know, what's the clue that the boy, we have two clues that something bad happened to the boy. How did the villagers know that something bad happened to the boy?
All they
That was
found
there
was his
and
little
nothing
ship.
else was there except for his hat.
That is true, but before that, what made them think, oh my goodness, something bad is going on. Maybe I should go. That's right. When he said, whoop, right? And there was nothing left. He didn't finish. So we'll go like this. Whoa. That's our clue. All right, so that's our clue. That was, the villagers knew that something bad happened to them. And
To him. Not them.
that was a clue. And so what did the villagers do when they heard his voice trail off?
They went.
They ran.
They ran. What's a strong verb other than ran? They sprinted. Good.
They used the halo.
They
sprinter.
rushed. Listen. They sprinted up there. And then they found
Nobody.
Dun, dun.
Dun,
Wait, please.
What'd they find? You choose a word.
A little sheepy.
What'd they find?
A sheep.
What happened?
A sheep.
They found nothing. Okay. What else would you like to put in your story that they found?
A sheepy.
Okay.
They found a few.
We're talking about the boys, so we better make sure that we don't forget about the boy
I'm
in
gonna
the
make
end
my
of the
story
story.
completely about the sheep.
Hold on, listen. What else did they find?
The
The
field.
hat.
They found the hat.
The field.
They found the field.
They found
And what was in the field?
horse field.
What was in the field?
The hat.
His hat.
Or blood.
What else would you like to? Okay, it would
Blood.
be pretty. If they found blood in the field, that would be pretty
Creepy.
clear that something bad happened,
Yeah.
right? So you put what you'd like down there. They found hat. They found the bloody hat.
The field.
Okay,
It's where the red hat grows.
and where the red hat lays, it lies, is laying. We better look at our irregular verb chart for that.
Where the
All
red
right.
hat lies.
I'm missing something down here, Jacob. What is it?
Jacob.
Like
You told me that my story must have this in the last.
moral or lesson.
Okay, that's right. So we're going to put a number 5 down here.
I put don't lie in quotation. Exclamation mark the whole way. Tons of.
Right. And here's the thing. I don't want you to just give me a command of what I should or shouldn't do. I want you to tell me why I should or shouldn't do it. Because if you just say, don't lie, then I might be, well, yeah, so why not? Right?
Because
Why
I
is
told
it
you to.
Why is it bad for me to lie? Well, that's fine, except that. Don't you want to know the reason why behind some things? We don't always know the reason why we have to do some things. But even God in Scripture tells us why we shouldn't do things and why we should do things. Okay? So I want you to tell me why. What could have been avoided if the boy had told the truth? Yes,
And being eaten by a wolf.
that's exactly right.
And saving the poor little sheepy.
So here we have our moral is, okay, don't lie. How can I say don't lie?
Don't fib.
How? Because I really don't want to use 2 words. I don't want to put don't lie, that's 2 words. I only have 3.
Lie.
Mallory, do you know how I could make this a don't?
You could draw a circle line.
Right, circle with a line through it. Don't lie, because nobody will what?
We'll believe you.
That's right. No one will believe when you tell the truth. So it says lie, line through it, nobody, and believe. So that's the moral to our story. All right. When you write
All
your
right, John, yeah, what y'all
listen.
doing?
When we write our story this week, can you change the characters?
Yep.
Yes. Can you change the setting?
Are
Yes.
we gonna make up our own
Now,
story?
listen, you can make up your own story, but this is what I want to see, and you will get points taken off if you do not do this.
Oh.
You have to make up a story sequence chart of your own. So don't write me a 20, wow, that was a little frightening, a 20 paragraph story.
Wow.
I don't want that. I want you to follow the story sequence chart. 3 paragraphs. I want you to clearly define your characters and your setting. I clearly want to know what the problem or conflict is, and I want to clearly know how you've resolved that conflict and what is the moral lesson to your story. Now, 3 paragraphs. You also have to include all of your dress-ups. Listen, you have to include all of your dress-ups in your story. All of them.
Miss Sanchez, I won't be here next week.
Okay, but you can still do your story and bring it in. Okay? Now, we are going to, that's it for this lesson.
I want to do
Sit down, you're not going anywhere.